come once again to discuss things.
I can do a pretty good Darth video. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to this mini-sode. You know, we're gonna try again. Last time Alex was on, it was a mini-sode too, and it was, you know, about 3 minutes shorter than an average episode. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. But welcome again, superhero enthusiast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So actually, this video does come out of two things. One, as I've said, I'm on a Star Wars kick right now. I'm just really fucking into Star Wars, and I promise this will be the last Star Wars video for quite a while, I imagine. Maybe until like episode 7 comes out or something, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm a bit of a Star Wars kick, and Alex joined me last time to talk about the Clone Wars show. And in that, he said something, and I wanted to argue with him about it, but it had, like, so little to do with the topic that I didn't feel justified in doing that, because it would have been a half-hour video in and of itself. So, we're going to discuss the Rule of Two, and the Sith in general, but we're mainly going to be focusing on the Rule of Two and the Star Wars canon with the Sith. So, Alex, why don't you tell them what you said, or what you think you said that made me want to talk about this, since I haven't told you.
Well, I'm assuming you meant, like, I said that the Rule of Two doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't get what incentive there is to train the apprentice too much so that they could overtake you.
Okay. See, that makes more sense. Alright. No, I just,
what did
like,
you
this
think
is
I
the
meant?
show. No, I just thought you were like, why wouldn't there be multiple Sith? I'm like, because they're all about power or something. I don't know. So no, that's a much better argument against it than I think I've ever heard before.
Haha.
Geeky Gentlemen, the show of consequences. No, but I actually really like the idea of the Rule of Two. And, like,
Yeah,
the reasoning
it's a neat
behind
concept.
it. Yeah, so I see your point, and it is actually a really good point, but here's my counter-argument to it. The Sith, more than they care about themselves and their own power, they hate the Jedi. So they know that there always has to be someone who's going to not suck at killing Jedi. That would be my counter.
Yeah. So,
Like, it's kind of that idea of, like, you have to take on an apprentice, and you have to make sure they're trained, because otherwise the Sith will die out. And that's not something that we want.
yeah, my thing is just I feel like, and maybe it's just because we don't have enough information, or maybe it's just I don't have that information because I haven't read everything in the expanded universe, but it would make sense that they would try to have some type of long-term goal that would be a little bit more specific than defeat the Jedi. Because it's clear with Plagueis, like, he came up with the whole immortality thing. And kind of to my point, Palpatine hadn't figured that out yet. But he was still able to kill his master. So there's knowledge that was lost there. And I kind of wonder, would there be things that the Sith knew in the beginning that just, like, 1,000 years later they just did not even know about because somebody had that info but they were killed before they were able to pass it on?
Yeah, that definitely seems like a possibility, I suppose.
Because from the opposite perspective of the apprentice, they wouldn't want to kill their master at, you know, until a certain point, until they knew enough. And, like, how do you know then that they would know enough? And Master was an apprentice once, and they would be in that same mindset, or, like, know what that's like. So they would be incentivized not to share certain things or make it seem like there were things that they hadn't taught them yet in order to preserve themselves.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
It's just weird game theory shit.
It's like, but what if Palpatine moves the Rook instead of the No, I get where you're coming from on that one, and I do think that it's an insanely good point, and it's probably why there aren't, super powerful Sith all the time. Like, because, Plagueis wasn't a force to be reckoned with the way Palpatine was, obviously, from the sense we get from the prequels, is no one frickin' knew he existed, so he couldn't have been that powerful, right? But he had information that Palpatine didn't. So I guess that's why you'd have Sith that aren't, super, important all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way it works is you'll eventually get a powerful Sith because that person just happens to be really apt at using the Force, and the dark side kind of reveals itself to you over time. I don't know. It's a weird thought, I guess.
Yeah, or because I guess the Sith put things in holocrons and then just leave them places. That seems to be a big, plot point in a lot of Star Wars video games and stuff.
Really? That I didn't know.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I'm forever playing games and reading stuff where it's like Sith holocron. It's weird. But maybe that's some type of safety valve or something for that information loss from Master to Apprentice. I don't know. Because I know when Palpatine was Emperor, he was writing this gigantic dark side compendium, like encyclopedia of shit you need to know if you're a Sith Lord. So, and he was a guy who was planning to live forever.
How to be a Sith Lord for Dummies. I'm gonna write that book now. Just be an asshole all the time. No, we were talking about this on the Force Unleashed episode, and it's just Palpatine would be like the worst person to hang out with because constantly he's just like, yes, strike him down. Be like, dude, stop telling people to kill me. No, but see, it is that weird thing where you need something to, because otherwise the first Sith would be the most powerful Sith, right? If what you're talking about is true, but clearly, that's not the case. They're clearly getting, varying levels of power just like you would have with Jedi.
Yeah, because I think the idea is supposed to be, if you're good enough to kill the Master, then you must be good enough to be a Master. Mm-hmm. But there are things in canon, like the Plagueis knowing about immortality, and potentially they hint at having created life with Anakin and the midichlorians and all that crap. Clearly, there in canon, he had information that his apprentice didn't that was incredibly useful.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, was the idea that Plagueis created Anakin?
Well, doesn't he say something about being able to manipulate the midichlorians themselves and potentially create life?
Yeah, but I thought that was just about, making sure someone would die. Or wouldn't die, rather.
Oh, I always got the impression that, maybe he made Anakin, but I don't know. I think that might be a fan theory or something.
I always thought Anakin was just Jesus, but really bad Jesus. Superman is space Jesus. Anakin is, disappointment Jesus. Wizard! We need to make Wizard a thing, guys. Just side note. So do they have, classical medieval type mythology in Star Wars? Was there, is there a mythology about wizards and dragons in a place where you have people levitating shit and fighting giant monsters? Because if so, that's a little strange. So I want to know why a child in the Star Wars universe would use the term wizard.
Yeah. So I'm okay with the idea that there are wizards, or in their literature there are wizards, but yeah, at a certain point, just it starts to get weird because Watchmen did the smart thing where they were well, superheroes are real, so nobody would be interested in reading about fictional superheroes. So pirates would be big, and you kind of wonder there are people who can do wizardy type things in the Star Wars universe. So why would that be exciting if that's everyday life?
Yeah. But anyway, back to the actual point of the video. Fuck, I forgot where... Okay, Anakin. I'm like, where the fuck did that wizard thing come from? No, so I don't think that the idea was that Plagueis created Anakin just from that one line, though. But, I don't know, like, it's weird. I'm wondering, is Plagueis, like, the exception to the rule, maybe, with Palpatine, or Sidious, whatever? Because, like, I'm trying to think, I don't know too much about Extended Universe, and now I don't have to. Actually, now I've seen everything that's in Star Wars canon.
True.
And I feel good about that. I've never had that before. Suck it, Star Wars fans. No, but, like, so there isn't any other... Like, I'm just wondering, is there another Dark Lord of the Sith that, like, had that where he clearly didn't tell his apprentice enough? With the exception of Plagueis, would he be the exception that proves the rule kind of thing, or? It
could be that Palpatine thought, oh shit, if he can make himself live forever, then that means he doesn't need me anymore. So he decided to kill him.
True.
But the murdering him in his sleep thing seems somewhat unimpressive.
Well, I mean, he's Palpatine. He's not exactly the most dramatic individual.
No, that's fair. But you would think a Sith Lord would, like, think that would be the first thing that you would try, like, if you were trying to kill me, so that would be the first thing that you would protect against, but...
Mm-hmm. See, this kind of gets us into the broader thing of, like, what exactly are the Sith like interacting with each other? Because we don't have that much of it, you know, like, we have Force Unleashed, which no longer canon. We have a little bit of stuff in the, you know, end of episode 3.
Yeah.
And then we have, 2 phone calls, basically, and and the, like, you know, Death Star scene in the original series.
Yeah.
So we don't really have that much about, like, what it's like for them to interact with each other. But I've been thinking about this for a while, or by a while I mean a couple weeks, and, like, so the idea is that the, you know, Sith Lord just tortures you until you do what he tells you, until you're strong enough to kill him yourself. So you constantly just trying to kill him and then getting your ass handed to you, and then saying please stop, and then doing whatever he wants you to, so he will stop? Or
that's kind of the impression I've gotten. There's a Darth Maul book that I read that kind of showcased somewhat of his interactions with Palpatine, but I think you and I talked last time about Darth Maul a little bit, and we kind of came to the conclusion, like, this guy was never really planned to be Palpatine's successor.
Yeah.
So I imagine the dynamic there might be a little bit different, because he seems to treat Darth Maul like a dog, basically.
Damn, it's harsh. Yeah, I agree with you, and I mean, like, Force Unleashed is probably the best, you know, it's not canon, but it's probably, I think, the best look into, you know, just the general way in which they would have had to grow up. Because how many Sith could possibly be like Anakin and Dooku, where, you know, it's just, oh, it's a Jedi that got converted. Why? Like, it would make more sense to get a child to train as opposed to just trying to convert a Jedi.
Yeah, that was, as far as, you know, I understood it, was that they, like, kidnapped children. Which is a perfectly Sith thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like, you can't be like assholes. It's like, dude, they're Sith. Of course they're assholes. No, it's just like, that's something I've been thinking about, though. Is like, just how interesting and dynamic that would be to, like, actually see it, you know, fully realized, as opposed to just the little bit we get in Unleashed of just... like, because you'd always be ready to kill the guy, and you just have to choke it down and hold that in until you really get the opportunity. Because it's got to be the most abusive relationship ever. Like I said, just imagine hanging out with Palpatine all the time. He's constantly just egging people on to kill you. That would be so annoying.
Yeah, that would cause for a very, you know, fucked up psyche, I would imagine. Your only parent figure is constantly trying to murder you.
Right? I want to make another terrible roommate video, and it's just Darth Sidious is a terrible roommate, just like, dude, did you drink my soda?
Yes, and I can feel your anger. It makes you strong.
Just all the time with that shit. Just always trying to piss you off. And the other thing that's been coming to my mind is I rewatched episode 3 because apparently I
hate yourself.
myself. But in the least like destructive way possible. I could have watched episode 1 just for the hell of it. No, but I watched episode 3 again just because, you know, I got through Clone Wars. I'm like, I really want to see the end of this side of things just because.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's that moment where Sidious, I guess, knights Vader or whatever you want to call it. And it almost seems like he gets more powerful from doing that. Like, just the way in which he's acting is like, you shall be a powerful Sith or something is the line he has.
Like Darth Vader gets more powerful?
No, I think Sidious gains more power from making Darth Vader his apprentice to a certain extent. Like, just the way in which that scene plays. Because I'm really curious how much of the Force, and the dark side in particular, but the Force in general, derives from... what's the word I want? The conceptual nature of things.
How do you mean?
Like, we talked about this, we talked about it a little bit last time where I asked, how much, like, do you get more powerful with the dark side by amassing power in the abstract?
Oh, okay.
So I'm, like, wondering, by making Anakin into Vader and his apprentice, does he kind of, like, leech some of his own mastery of the Force in that way? It's just a thought I had, because if you watch the way he acts, it's like he just became... It's like he was overrun by this euphoric sense as he made Vader.
It's possible. That would be really interesting if it worked like that.
Yeah,
It might explain, too, his trying to take over the whole galaxy a little bit more.
I just thought he did that because, fuck it, I can.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just there's the whole level too, if that makes you an even better Sith Lord.
Yeah, just like if that makes you the most powerful Sith, then that's a good-ass way to... Like, if power in the abstract makes you more powerful, then taking over the fucking galaxy is a pretty good way to do it. Because it just, I don't know, it just makes sense, because otherwise Palpatine doesn't seem, like, particularly strong one way or another until he starts amassing power in different ways. Like, in that abstract sense, it seems to make him more powerful to me. Like, physically speaking, or mastery of the Force wise, I don't know.
I maybe just need to rewatch that scene.
Yeah, just that scene, that's all you need.
Yeah. I'm not a masochist.
I was thinking about that the other day. So, like, he kills 3 Jedi with 2 saber swings, which is pretty impressive in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But then he spends, like, 10 minutes fighting Mace Windu. I'm like, why didn't you just spend 10 minutes fighting all of them? That would have made so much more sense. Because then Anakin would have walked in on 3 Jedi about to kill 1 dude.
Yeah, that would have worked better.
Yeah, right? It's like they didn't like the actor playing Kit Fisto that much. They're like, fuck it, we need to kill this guy. Anyway. No, it's just that's one of the things I've been thinking of, though, is just, does power in the abstract make you more powerful with the Force? And Jedi in general, does, you know, shunning away personal satisfaction or personal gratification make you closer to the Force in that sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think...
Well, speculate.
Yeah, I don't think they ever are going to, like, sit down and explain the whole metaphysics of it, but...
Damn it! I want to... That's what we need. There has to be a Star Wars and philosophy book. There has to be.
I would be surprised if there wasn't, but
I don't know. The Force and metaphysics. There we go. Well, fuck it. Now I'm gonna make another video about Star Wars. Okay. So back. I guess I'm just trying to figure out where to go from here.
Well, if we're going to talk about the rule of two, we need to bring up the fact that it tends to get broken a lot.
And that's something that I talked about a little bit in the Force Unleashed video, but I do want to get into again, which is, I don't think it's like an actual rule. I think it's just kind of a standard that they go by. You can potentially have as many quote-unquote Sith as you do Jedi, but the majority of them are going to be like very, very low in power levels, because if anyone gets too strong, then the strongest kills that one. Is the sense that I got from it.
Yeah, there seems to be some expanded universe stuff that suggests at certain times people had, or Sith Lords had warriors and acolytes, and some of these lesser skilled Force practitioners kind of doing their dirty work, but they were never they were never given the title of Sith Lord. And Palpatine had the same thing during the Empire, but
yeah, I mean, there's all those.
He considered the rule of two to have been broken, or to have not been needed anymore once he was in power. So.
Yeah, because he had all those Imperial Guards or whatever they are, the red ones, which were really fun to fight against in Force Unleashed, by the way. Or Force Unleashed 2, rather. Just them using the Force against you and stuff, it's, breaks up the repetitiveness of it, I guess. No, but, it seems like you can have X number of Sith at a time, but really there are only two of, note, I guess.
Yeah.
The rest are kind of just lackeys. And it seems that a common strategy is to just have a Sith lackey be, oh, you're really my apprentice, even though I'm this guy's apprentice, but we'll take him together. Which is something I guess I'd like to see brought to fruition, an apprentice and an apprentice's apprentice, and Donald Trump fight off a Sith Lord, and
that would be a hilarious parody, where it's The Apprentice, and it's a Sith Lord show, the Trump show. That would be awesome. And Palpatine would be you're fired, and zap him with lightning.
You're shocked. Don't you mean fired? No. That would be so ridiculous. But I'd have to get a wig. I'd have to get a really awful wig for Palpatine to wear.
That would be funny.
I've been taking this history in the 20th century, and you got to start off by talking about the economics of 19th century and how much changed. And so this professor asks, okay, so what do you do as an apprentice? I go, use your hatred to strike down your master? College level course. Quite proud of that. Also, another anecdote, which you'll probably like more being a Trek guy. So we're talking about, imperialism and all that good stuff, and the Christian missionaries trying to, change these, admittedly by our standards, awful practices of other cultures, female genital mutilation, all that stuff. And so I say, and I raise my hand, and it's I'm almost ashamed to ask it, but I just had to because it entered my head. So I'm can you talk about imperialism in the context of Star Trek? To it, once again, college professor. She has no interest in any of the shit I like, but whatever. It's I don't know what you mean. Well, they have that whole prime directive thing where you're not supposed to interfere with another culture. So do you think that might have been derived from this history of imperialist practice? It's I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It's like this weird swinging the pendulum to the complete opposite extreme.
Lovely. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, Sith and stuff. I keep getting sidetracked because I don't know. There's so many weird things that you got to talk about when you talk about Star Wars in the abstract, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Where did that come from? We were talking about The Apprentice as, you know, a parody of the Trump show.
Well, that, you know, everybody would probably have one and be telling everybody, like, oh, yeah, you're my apprentice, we'll take them on, don't worry. Just manipulation, which I guess makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I want to kind of actually see that realized, because it seems like it never really works out. Because you'd have to assume that the apprentice's apprentice, what's it? The junior apprentice? I don't know. I need a shorter term to refer to those.
I think there was an apprentice junior, wasn't there?
Wait, was there like a children's show called The Apprentice?
I don't know.
Junior?
Was there like a kids version? I know they had Celebrity Apprentice.
I hope not, because like it's not okay to teach children to betray each other. General rule. Don't do that.
Yes, the opposite of the golden rule.
Always stab each other in the back, children, because it's how you gain more power. It's seriously, is Donald Trump just a Sith Lord and he's really good at hiding it? Because think about it, he's been trying to become like the president and shit. It's really fucked up now that I think about it like that.
I don't know. I think he just does that for the publicity.
Okay.
It's kind of I gotta keep my name in the news sort of thing.
Good to know. Because he's like stirring up controversy with the fucking birthers thing, and
yeah.
I don't know. Donald Trump may be a Sith Lord. We should probably go, get 5 really good, pretty soon I'm just say like 200 Jedi Palpatine defeated with 2 lightsaber swings. I'm gonna keep exaggerating it.
He killed the entire Jedi Order with 2 lightsaber swings.
Pretty much. It wouldn't be that bad if it weren't all the guys who are supposed to be really good at lightsaber battling.
It's the Worf effect. It's Star Trek reference of whenever there were to be some type of new threat that would like show up, they had to show how tough it was by, having Worf get his ass kicked by them, because Worf's the big tough guy and security officer. So, it's a way to show how serious the situation is.
But still, 2 swings. Come on now.
Yeah. That Kit Fisto should have done better.
He really should have. All right. That actually gets us to some kind of logical place here with So your whole thing is that the Sith really shouldn't use lightsabers, right?
I'm not 100% against it, but I always liked the idea that they were more like wizards and like weird sorcerer kind of dudes. That seems interesting and a nice way to differentiate the Jedi from the Sith. And I always took like Vader having the lightsaber because he used to be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting thought, and like, I don't hate the idea, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck you, because then we wouldn't have lightsaber duels.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I can see how there would be reasons for them to train and all that stuff. Especially given, I guess, originally the Sith did split from the Jedi, but I just always at least assumed once you became a master, you were like, you didn't even really need to use it.
Mm-hmm. And I do see where you're coming from with that one, because, like, it would be weird for Sith who are, concentrating on their own power and everything to only focus on, or to spend too much time focusing on, sword skill. Saber skill. I don't know. Ah, words. It gets so difficult. Fucking language. Um, saber play, saber dueling. I don't know. Back to my point. It would be weird for them to spend too much time focusing on that since they're apparently trying to like hone their own ability and stuff constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression too that part of what they did during the Rule of Two was to like destabilize the Jedi Order wherever possible. That maybe would have necessitated some type of covert ops type ninja shit. But yeah, I never really pictured them as like being fighter people.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, that's just like how I saw that when I was a kid, and we didn't really have the expanded universe, and the only Sith that we ever saw were Darth Vader and, Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Palpatine didn't use a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But like, I guess I'll bring up the same point I did last time with the idea that, well, if your only real defense is Sith lightning, then, you kind of fucked, because it's apparently really easy to turn back on you and make your face look like, garbage.
Yeah, and that was just one of the stupidest things ever.
Like, I don't mind the idea that it can counter with a lightsaber. That's fine. And I don't mind the idea that it can totally fuck you up and, like, be turned against you like that. But at the same time, I'm like, well then, why didn't he try literally anything else?
Well, why does it disfigure people? Because, like, lightning doesn't, like, make you melt. And, like, why doesn't Luke get disfigured when he gets shot with it in Return of the Jedi?
I think the idea is just Palpatine was getting hit with it longer, and it was kind of draining his life away. I don't know. And don't try to justify anything in the prequels. Don't try to apply logic to anything in the prequels of the Star Wars universe, because it all breaks apart, and then fucking Jar Jar Binks shows up, and it's like, Misa, racial stereotype.
And then he steps in the poopy.
Steps in poop, and brings in his Aunt Jamarmar.
Oh God.
One of my favorite Mad TV sketches of all time. It's like interview with George Lucas. How do you feel about people saying that you've reintroduced racial stereotypes into film? Well, no, that's completely ridiculous. And I'm going to really show in the next film that Jar Jar and the Gungans are really, people in that transcendent way. We're going to show that they're people with families. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm going to bring in his Aunt Jamarmar, and I don't know how the rest of the scene goes because I'm always too busy laughing.
Yeah, those films and the whole racial stereotypes. Because, I mean, it's not just Jar Jar. It's like every other character.
Yeah, it is. How come there aren't any Gungan Jedi? Oh, that's right, because the Jedi aren't fucktards. No, but like, where was I going with that?
Well, I was trying to think, whether or not there actually were in Clone Wars. I don't think so.
No, there's one time where people thought Jar Jar was a Jedi, but thank God it was only one episode. No, but like, it seems like there has to be some kind of lightsaber, or at least, I guess they need to kind of widen exactly what the Force can do. Because it seemed like they kind of did that a lot in the original series, and then I guess the expanded universe never really went too far with it. And then the prequels didn't really add anything else. You can have premonitions of the future, you can use lightning powers, you can levitate things, and you can use the mind trick. That's about it.
Yeah, they never really expanded it beyond that, and I could have seen it going in a way where Like, they were wizards. It was just magic, kind of.
Yeah, like, it really seems like you need to either add some other elemental things, because you have the lightning to bounce off of, or just something besides those powers, which, don't get me wrong, the Force is fucking cool, and every time the remote's too far away, I try to use it for entirely too long, to the point where it's really ridiculous, because I could have literally gotten up and grabbed the remote, and then sat back down, and flipped the channel, and put the remote down, and watch something else, in the time that I am spending trying to grab the remote with the Force.
But if it happens, won't it be worth the effort?
Well, here's the thing, though. If it happens, I'm going to freak the fuck out and immediately drop it and probably break it. So that's the problem here.
Yeah, well, and then you have to bring up the question, you know, am I actually a Jedi, or is there just a poltergeist in this room that likes to fuck with me?
Admittedly, if I were to haunt someone, I would go find a nerd and just ruin their life by, like, making it so that they could only do it when they're alone.
It's like that frog that sings.
What?
It's like that frog that sings from...
Oh, exactly! It's exactly like Michigan J. Frog. I would be the Michigan J. Frog of Poltergeist for nerds. This has gone to a very strange
all of
place.
this from the Rule of Two.
This is a very strange conversation, man. Thank you. No, but like, so you'd either have to expand what exactly the Force can be used to do, and I don't know, make it kind of like Dragon Ball Z, I guess, with just balls of energy flying around to fight lightsabers. Just something, because...
I always saw the Force as being some type of just, like, weird extension of a person's will and, like, sense of personal power or whatever. At least going by the original trilogy.
So then I guess you could just get Green Lantern rings in Star Wars, and that would be...
Well,
not rip
you
off
don't even
the
need to accessorize when you've got the Force.
Yeah, but I mean, that's basically what you just said, though, is if it's just an extension of will, to a certain extent, as far as using the powers to accomplish things, then it's just fucking Green Lantern ring.
Kind of, but I mean, you don't get, like, a construct that comes from you.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, like, if you're shooting energy and stuff, it seems like it'd be a very short trip. Something I always wonder is... You know, in Star Wars, they're constantly fighting giant monsters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, to be fair, like I said, the prequels have some good stuff every so often. Anakin, at least kind of, used it from time to time to, like, calm or even control some of the giant monsters. And I'm constantly wondering why more people don't do that. Because it would seem like the, you know... way to go to me. Just, oh look, a Rancor. Mine! I don't know, that seems to be something they need to explore more.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm about spent on things that I wanted to bring up. You got anything that, like, in this wheelhouse that you felt need to be talked about more? Besides Donald Trump?
I don't think so. Yeah, the prequels ruined everything, I guess, is really what it comes down to. I don't know. The later stuff has always seemed to have lacked in that sort of sense of awe that we kind of got from the Force in the original trilogy.
Yeah, and I think it's because everyone's fucking using it.
It feels weird to say, but like Star Wars has gotten too sci-fi in some senses. Like, you need to get back to, like, this is a fairy tale that just happens to be in space.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with you there. And with the Sith in general, I think that they're a really interesting source of villainy, but they really need to be fleshed out a little bit more than they have been. Like, I still say that the Sith are some of the best stuff from the prequels, what little we get.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, you know, we really need to either We don't need, like, a list of what you can and cannot do with the Force, but we need to see more stuff done with it that's, like, you know, not been shown before. Or at least using it in different ways that are interesting. That was part of the fun of Force Unleashed is, oh, cool, I can grab a Stormtrooper and then hit him with lightning and then throw him and he'll blow up. Awesome.
Well, it's like the cool thing with superheroes, too, and, like, it's always neat when writers find neat ways for, like, heroes to use their abilities.
Oh, like with Grant Morrison making Martian Manhunter go insane when he tried to read the Joker's mind.
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant. And, like, with Star Wars, some of the stuff that has come around in recent years, at least I think it's recent, like the lightsaber throw as a combat method.
Yeah.
Genius.
That wasn't just some random thing that Vader did in Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a lot of stuff like that. Okay, well, this was fun and strange and...
Yeah, Michigan J. Frog. Jedi Master.
Sith Lord. No, Michigan J. Frog is clearly a Sith because he just likes to piss people off.
That's true.
Michigan J. Frog was the original troll. You mad, bro? Anyway. Everyone, thank you for listening. This was, like I said, it was very strange, but I just had a lot of thoughts that I wanted to get out, and Alex was just like, I don't know. No. That'd be cool.
That's what I'm here for.
So, thank you for being my my soundboard, Alex. No, but a lot of fun here. A lot of fun. Anyway, well, we'll do something else in the future. Alex will probably come on again because he's fun to bounce ideas off of.
Awesome.
Assuming that I haven't scared him off with this one.
No, this was fun.
Okay. So we'll come up with something else. I might even let him pick a topic in the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we'll come up with some other stuff for you. But until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Enthusiast.
And we're your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing